Day 2 of the Raye Smith trial. The prosecution called several witnesses today, including Kelsey's stepfather, Michael Porter. He's currently serving 30 years for enabling the child abuse of Smith-Briggs. KSBI-TV's Shelly Mills is live now in Bristol with the latest.
Well, Keeley, court adjourned this afternoon about 4:30. Michael Porter did testify this afternoon. He said that on 3 occasions dating back to January 2005, he did see Raye abusing Kelsey. Now, in one of those instances, he says he saw her punching Kelsey in the stomach. He also went on to say that he willingly lied to authorities about the abuse because he was hoping to protect Raye at that time. Now, prior to his testimony, the day began with a first responder who tried to help Kelsey and a physician's assistant from the Prague Hospital who tried to revive Kelsey. Now, they described what happened from the moments help arrived to Kelsey's home until hospital personnel pronounced her dead. The third witness, a forensic pathologist with the state medical examiner's office, Dr. Yuku, testified about the injuries found on Kelsey's body after her death. The prosecution used several pictures to show the jury the extent of Kelsey's injuries noted in the autopsy report. It was during this testimony the judge was forced to call a recess because Raye began crying loudly and uncontrollably. The doctor testified that internal injuries to Kelsey's body were likely caused by a localized blow to the abdomen and not any sort of fall. They then took a break, returning later to hear Michael Porter testify after they adjourned. We spoke with Kelsey's step-grandfather on the paternal side. Here's what he had to say about Porter's testimony.
He's admitted to what he says he did, and he could have, pled to a lesser sentence if he'd admitted to doing it, and he did.
He went on to say that he did believe what Porter testified in court today to be true. Now, Michael Porter also revealed several of the details surrounding the day that Kelsey Smith-Briggs did die, and he said that he did not do anything to harm her. He also made it known that he chose to testify today on his own and that he received no sort of reward for doing so.
Today, one of Kelsey's grandmothers took the witness stand. Amy Lester was there and heard what she had to say. Amy?
She and other family members took the stand with sometimes emotional testimony. We heard from Kelsey's stepmother at the time of the alleged abuse. She said she worried this day would come.
Look at the pictures. The pictures tell it all.
The pictures of Kelsey alive, bruised with 2 broken legs. The pictures shown in court that family members say document Kelsey losing her spirit.
You could see that was a child that, almost looked like she'd almost lost all hope for life.
Ashley Gober, Kelsey's stepmother at the time, took some of the pictures and contacted DHS on several occasions. She testified, "I felt something wasn't right. She was being abused."
It was plain as day that something was wrong. I felt at that time it wasn't going to be much longer before something happened to her.
Over 8 months, the family on Kelsey's biological father's side documented every injury they saw. Kelsey's paternal grandmother, Kathy Briggs, testified she had 3 to 4 people inspect Kelsey every time she arrived from Raye care looking for injuries. When Raye defense lawyer questioned Kathy, he made allegations against her and focused on the turmoil and animosity between the families.
Never once do you ever hear them say, "What about Kelsey?" It's always, "Oh, Kathy's being mean to Raye." Where is it? What happened to Kelsey? That little child was murdered, but they don't care about that.
Testimony also came out about DHS. Family members say they made numerous calls to talk about Kelsey's injuries with DHS. Oftentimes, they say the calls were never followed up on or messages were not returned.
It's very frustrating because you almost want to look at everyone and say, "I told you so."
And we do expect to hear from some of the DHS workers involved in this case during the trial. Back to you.
All right, Amy Lester for us tonight. Now, so far, 9 of the 60 possible witnesses have testified for the prosecution. Testimony continues tomorrow morning.
In testimony today, 2 jurors teared up while looking at some of the last pictures taken of Kelsey Smith-Briggs alive.
On the 3rd day of her mother's trial, Fox 25's Britton Follett shows us the pictures that brought the jury to tears.
Jurors heard from 3 different witnesses today. Kelsey's grandmother on her dad's side, Kathy Briggs, her stepmom, Ashley, and Ashley's mom, Terry Sigmund. 3 people who told the jury they told so many people someone was abusing Kelsey, but in the end, no one protected her.
You almost want to look at everyone and say, "I told you so."
For 6.5 hours, jurors looked at pictures of Kelsey with bruises. Bruce's witnesses say always came with explanations.
Even though most people look at it and say just a scrape, just a bump, look at everything else prior to.
Kathy Briggs told the jury Raye explained this bruise by saying Kelsey's stepsister elbowed her in the nose. Here she bumped into the wall in the hallway. Raye says she twisted her ankle running on flip-flops at the zoo and ended up with 2 broken legs. Bruises Raye's attorneys argued could have been accidents or happened in someone's care besides Raye's.
They worry about everything, but the fact is Kelsey was murdered. But no one wants to look at that.
Kelsey's step-grandmother broke down crying when she said she told one of Kelsey's caseworkers she was scared after seeing her for the last time the day this home video was recorded, that Kelsey would not be here when her daddy got home from Iraq.
You could see the picture of her. You could see that was a child that, almost looked like she'd almost lost all hope for life.
August was very visible. It was very hard. It was plain as day that something was wrong. I felt at that time it wasn't going to be much longer before something happened to her.
After each witness, prosecutors reminded the jury Kelsey died from child abuse, and only 2 people could have killed her, Michael Porter or Raye.
Either one did it, they both did it, or they both knew. The law might not get them, but someday the Lord will.
The defense continued to tell jurors Kathy Briggs had custody of Kelsey at the time someone broke her legs. Kathy says she could not imagine the broken legs were child abuse until she took Kelsey to doctors here in Oklahoma City, and 4 doctors with 90 years experience told her. The judge and Raye did not allow Kathy or anyone in her family to see Kelsey for the last month and a half of her life.
Our Amy Lester is in Bristow, where workers from DHS took the stand. Amy, what did they say?
Well, we heard about what DHS did and what DHS did not do. And for the first time, a worker from DHS says it's possible she made a mistake in this case.
The Department of Human Services, they failed.
Kelsey Briggs' family on her biological father's side has always pointed the finger at DHS. Now they believe it more than ever. DHS worker Yolanda Hunter testified that when Kelsey had 2 broken legs, a doctor diagnosed it as abuse. Kelsey was taken into DHS custody, but DHS workers never contacted police, which they testify is the agency's policy. When asked on the stand if DHS made a mistake, Hunter said, quote, "We may have."
They made a mistake, and, it's nice to hear them say that, but it doesn't help Kelsey.
Between Yolanda Hunter and Jean Bonner, a social worker contracted by DHS, they testified that they talked to Raye or visited Kelsey dozens of times in the months before she died. Bonner testifies that during those visits, she documented a bruise on her forehead, that Kelsey was having night terrors, that she had faded bruises on her legs, several bruises on her cheek, a crescent-shaped scraping-type injury under her eye. Bonner says Raye always had an explanation, like a lamp fell on her, or she rubbed her own eye with a towel too hard, or she fell off a toy. Kelsey remained in the home, and police were never called.
If you see a child bruised that much and injured that often, to me, you should be concerned about it. That's especially when that is your job.
On one occasion, the bruises on Kelsey's face concerned DHS worker Yolanda Hunter enough that pictures were taken, but no one called police or did anything more. When asked on the stand, with the benefit of hindsight, would she have done something different, Hunter said yes.
I know they have to live with that for the rest of their life, that they made a mistake, but it still does not bring Kelsey back.
And Raye was taking Kelsey to the doctor. She was being checked to see if she had a disorder that caused her to bruise easily or to cause her bones to break more easily than other children. All those tests either came back normal or inconclusive. Back to you.
All right, Amy Lester for us tonight in Bristow. Now, DHS welfare aide testified that she heard Kelsey say, quote, "Daddy Mike hurt my head." Mike Porter is serving 30 years for enabling child abuse in this case.